Okay, so the reason we're digging in Middlefield is because my colleague Ian Waits was brought up here. It's a council estate. It was planned in the late 50s, built in the early 60s, following a utopian model.
So what we want to do is to kind of get the people who live on the estate now to be aware of their history and aware of the past and really about the history of the estate, so they get a better idea of where they live. And
5 bags of fines in, we will swap your bag of fines for a bag of Haribo. The adults will get a bag of utopian estate because it was planned according to the ideas that you could plan for a better place to live. You could make a good place to live by thinking about how to design it.
Well, at the moment I'm just taking the turf off, then they'll come round and test for any cables and pipes. Then hopefully we can start digging out and find some artefacts. Probably find clay pipe, maybe bits of old pottery. Bit of luck, we might find something that's really interesting.
When I was young, I used to live on Privy Close, and an old lady that used to live on the street where we lived, she used to tell us all sorts of stories, and she told us that it was built, we were living on a burial ground. When you're a little girl, that's like, wow.
They were planned for people to stay put and not to be this kind of transient thing about sort of moving and kind of, you know, waiting for the house to kind of grow in value and then moving on.
That's an oyster shell. Okay, nowadays, if we buy oysters, they're really expensive, really expensive.
But these are expensive.
But they, in the Victorian period, when people are using pipes like that, these shells are actually, the oysters are really cheap, and people would buy them in the pub as cheap snacks. You know, if you buy crisps, you've ever been...
Turn up. I think some coins, some treasure, and then my little boy, he'll get really excited. Failing that, he wants some bone, which we found already. And maybe some bits of clay pipe. Found quite a bit of that in it.
A time slice almost, because you're going down into the ground, you're going down into time. And I always think it's a bit like when if you're out in a boat on the water, you look across the surface of the water and you can't see anything but the surface. But if you've got a glass bottom to it, you can kind of see down. And Testbit is just like that, you can kind of see down into time. And it's just amazing, you know, we've got so much stuff coming up. But what is really interesting is the material culture, you know, the stuff from the last 50 years.
Like household implements, like this is from packaging from a Parker pen. So someone's been tipping the rubbish on it at some point.
Yeah. Wow.
Quite a few bits of clay pipe as well.
Castly. The area open space. You compare the amount of open space you've got here compared to an average modern developed estate where you've got gardens the size of a pocket handkerchief and people are crammed in together, and you've got much more open space here. So, you know, who knows?
So what's under? No, because it was a different, well...
I'm trying to get this out.
I don't think you're going to, mate. It's right in there.
I'm going to get this one out.
Carl, but while you're stood in it, you're pushing it all back down again.
I say to them, you know, do you like it here? Oh yeah. Why do you like it? It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's green. So in that respect, you know, they're seeing exactly what I saw of it when I was a kid. So it's about keeping the kind of flame really about social housing, council housing, that people need this sort of thing. They need it more than ever.
But the spirit has been absolutely fantastic. Have you all enjoyed it? To give more people the chance to get involved in this, and then to be able to have the skills to carry on themselves, because people enjoy it. It's very enriching for people's lives. If you know, people just feel good for having done it, and it tells us so much more about the past. So that's my ambition for the future.
Yeah, it was very much about very much Mr. Tony. Mr. Candy in Lincoln. Very much about permanence, not about money. It was about stable communities, happy, content people.